We also had Becky Lynch's first defense of the NXT Women's Championship on Raw Monday night. It was originally going to be against Tegan Nox. That was who Becky had chosen. She wanted to work with Tegan, but before the show started, Vince McMahon made the call to change it to Natalya. So her first title defense would be against somebody with name recognition. And the match did nothing for Natty. It did nothing for Becky. A match with Tegan, who's not over, and she's not over because she's never on television, so it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy there. Hard to get over if you don't get television time and some kind of creative investment. But with Tegan Nox, at least, if the match was any good, if her and Becky went out there, first time ever, and they actually had a really good match, and Becky gave her some believable near falls, it could have opened some eyes for Tegan Nox. But Vince McMahon does not give a flying fuck about Tegan Nox, not unless she's willing to sign an NDA first. So he went with Natty, and nobody cared. Which brings me to Jade Cargill. Jade has left AEW. She has been spotted at the Performance Center recently. WWE is said to already be working on main roster creative for her debut, and it is said to be a high priority for them, which means that she is probably in line for a big push right out of the gate. That doesn't necessarily mean that she is completely bypassing NXT. There are plenty of people who work NXT but also work the main roster. I still think Jade belongs in NXT for a little while. I think it would do her good down there. Because she would be kind of a big fish in a small pond, but I think if they're really trying to turn her into a big star, that's one of the benefits, I think, frankly, to her starting down there. Be a big fish in a small pond. She could be kind of the alpha female down there, even if it's only for a few months, and then she goes full-time on the main roster. But if they're paying her a lot of money, I mean, look at some of the names that got cut this week, right? They were making main roster money, but they were being used in NXT, and guess what? They got shit canned. So the odds of her spending much time down there, probably very slim. But if they want to make a splash with this woman, why not have her show up to either confront Becky Lynch after one of her matches as a surprise, or to answer one of her open challenges for the NXT Women's Championship and beat her for it? Her winning that title, it would force them to keep her in NXT, at least for a little while, because she would be a defending NXT champion. But she could still make main roster appearances if they wanted her to, because the brand split is dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you want Jade to make an impact in her debut? That's one way of doing it. Becky said it herself in the promo she cut on Natty when Natty came out on Monday. She said, look, I wanted to offer an opportunity to somebody new who hasn't been on the roster for 15 years. Jade would fit that bill. But she's going to be getting on-the-job training because she's not at the level of the top women in that company. Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Asuka, Io Sky. Bell to bell, she is below every single one of them. Her presence is undeniable, but she needs to put the time in and really up her game if she wants to be on the level with those other women that I just mentioned.